Welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your migration agent here. Today I would like to take this opportunity to share again in regards to the partner visa that is for basically someone who would like to sponsor their partner by means of de facto partner, spouse, wife or husbands into Australia. Now there are a couple of different streams. There are onshore and offshore, but then the subclasses has been merged, and today I'll take this opportunity with this short video to share with you the actual procedures and what you're required to know and to prepare with in order to lodge the partner visa. So let's jump into the immigration's website. Now today, as you can see, this is Department of Home Affairs, and we are gonna focus on subclass 820. Now bear in mind, 820 is an onshore subclass. Now if you're gonna lodge offshore, it will be 309, but the whole procedure is basically the same. So give you a little bit of history. In the previous probably 15 years ago, a lot of applications are still done over by paper applications. So it's basically you need to print out all these paper application, or you can actually pick up at the immigration office, and then you put in all your detail and photocopy all your passport and all these details, and you post it. Nowadays, because of electronic and digitalize the system, so there's no longer paper application. But because the old law where they differentiate onshore and offshore for paper applications, by means of merging them together in the regulation, I believe there are difficulties there, and that is probably why they are still keeping 820 and 309. But if you do log into IMI account, they're actually in the same category nowadays. So all the information that you're gonna insert it and provided are all the same. Okay, so the partner visa has two streams. So if we go back one page, you will actually see, let me have a look if we can go back a bit. Okay, here we go. Right, if you go back, it will actually show, if you can see here, it says subclasses 820 and 801. Why is that? They're basically combining the temporary, so you can see they combine temporary and the permanent application together. Now a little bit of history again. In the previous world, where we're still on the paper applications, you submit a temporary paper application and you get invited and you do another permanent partner visa applications. But it's been a redundant when it comes to digital world nowadays, so they basically merge them all together. The differences between the first one temporary and the second one permanent will basically be the updating of information. So for example, if it's partner visa, update your relationship with your spouse or the other dependents. So they just want to make sure that the relationship is still there. Now let's go back to the actual contents. Now if you go in here, you can also find this website through Google, all the search engines, and you see down right underneath my screen here, down here, there's a little toggle button here. You can actually change it from applicant to the sponsors, so you can actually find out the eligibility of the applicant and the sponsor. But I would like to take you to the applicants first. So basically it spells out the money that you're required to spend. So it's considerably high, as you can see right here. It's $7,715, and that still need to require to add the credit card surcharges. So it's huge, it's humongous. So make sure that you have everything that you need, and I really suggest you to get a really professional advice before you lodge it. Otherwise that money is gonna be, that's no return, no refund from immigration department. Home Affairs never refund. Well, they do, but really slim chance. So make sure that before you lodge the visa, you pay a lot of detailed attentions to all the information that you're supposed to provide. So, and then we come down here, as you can see, the processing time is around 2 years. Now, it can go between 22 to 29 months, okay? But in between will be about 2 years. Now, if you jump into the permanent one, it will be around the same time. So it's around 3 to 4 years. Now, it really depends. Now, there is a quicker way to waive this wait period, but I believe in my previous video, maybe you can find it. As long as you can provide evidence of a long relationship or with a child, the wait period can be waived extremely down to possibly within 6 months, so or even less. But if you do have that interest, you can leave a comment. We can provide you more information on that. Now we go back to the applicant part. So let's go to eligibility. Now the first one will be not had a visa cancelled or application refused. That basically is whether you need to pass the character and the conditions. There are some conditions upon it, and that basically is on every single applications nowadays. So basically, Australian government wanted to check all your histories, make sure that you're a good character. Now, and relationship requirement, this is the part I want to take more times to explain it through. So in most cases that it says here, you must be a sponsor de facto of your. So of course you need to be sponsored by an Australian citizen or Australian permanent resident. Now down here it says eligible New Zealand citizen. I can open it up with a little let's see if you can see here. It's actually right here, right underneath me. So there is a little section saying so basically is a New Zealand citizen who had entered into Australia before 26th of February 2001. So that basically will be the categorization of eligible New Zealand citizens. So you are deemed to be as a resident of Australia. Okay, so then you'll be able to sponsor someone to become with a visa and become a permanent resident in the coming years. Now, you also need to see you might still be eligible for visa if your relationship breaks down or your sponsor dies while you are considered this application. So that is a very extreme cases. Now, I also like to take you to even have a look into this part, but it actually goes down to relationship changes, death of your sponsor down at the I think it's right underneath it. But in today's topic, I will not go into detail on those parts. But if you do have interest in knowing more, leave a comment right below. So okay, now if you're married, basically, of course, you need to provide a marriage certificate. And if it's not in English, of course, you need to provide it in English or get a NATI translation done. Now, the best practice is obviously not to lodge upon a visa a day or week after you get married. You will still get that red alert in the department because unfortunately, over the past few years, there has been a lot of fake marriages. So due to the government preventions of those fraud and fake applications, if you just got married, don't lodge it. I will say at least you can also provide before or after your marriage. There are still extensive time of relationship existence with evidence or proof. Okay, and that comes down to the de facto partner, where there are some interesting part that you can also provide if you are married as well. But of course, if you get married and you get, newborn child, that's another case. So that's a pretty firm cases that the relationship is there. Now, I need to tell all the viewers that what the Australian government is trying to do is to verify by using the amount of application fee required and also time to testify the truth of your relationships. Okay, so that is just to prevent future fake marriages as well. So the best practice is down here. Now we can follow the de facto partners. The checkpoints here is that you must have existed at least 12 months immediately before you apply a visa. So all you need to do is to provide evidence of proof that the relationship has been there for at least 12 months. So what is required to be prepared? They are probably rental, you've been living together, you probably have joint name bank account, statutory declaration made by other friends, third parties, minimum of 2, more is better, photographs, email exchanges, or sometimes people doing apps messages, but that's a lot. They are actually software to actually extract the conversation detail. But I think the best thing is that to provide utility bills, including bank statements, showing that you guys are actually living together. Okay, and that is the best way to provide evidence of proof of your relationships. Okay, now of course you need to have a sponsor. So we talked about that the sponsor will obviously be your spouse, and who is going to either be the Australian citizen, Australian permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen, and be of the right age. So married applicant usually be 18 or older. That's pretty much of it, but and health and character. Now let's go back up here to look into the sponsor. So what a sponsor is required to be. So be a suitable sponsor. You must be an Australian citizen, Australian permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. If you do not meet the eligibility criteria, your partner might be eligible for that's for New Zealand citizen. Okay, that's not eligible New Zealand citizen. That's a different category visa. Of course, be a right age as well. Provide information relevant to offense. So an easy way to do this is to just go through an AFP police check. That's an Australian Federal Police check. To get a police certificate showing that you are of a good character. And there is a limitation of sponsorship. So if you have either sponsored someone before, there is a limitation within the 5 years. You cannot sponsor anyone else. And this is hell on another topic. There is a way to waive that, but that will be my other video time. So that basically gives you all the basic introduction of what partner visa is. So again, partner visa is for you to sponsor, or you to be sponsored by or for your spouse who is Australian citizen, Australian permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. And the time frame is likely to be between 2 to 4 years. My average general time is hit at that 3-year mark. So at the time of lodgement, you're required to demonstrate that your relationship has either been married, and the best practice is to show that evidence of proof of 12-month relationship with all the evidential documentations prepared and attached. Now, after about 18 to 20 months or 24 months, you will receive an email inviting you to provide an update of your relationship, and that is when you transfer into a permanent residency stage. So that's basically how the whole partner visa application will work. If you do have any other comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment right below. And if you do like our channel, please consider to subscribe, and you will be able to receive all the update of Australian visa insights. I see you in the next video. Goodbye.